good day, everybody. How's everybody doing? Another check-in for the health journey on Carnivore with you guys. Thought this would be a good moment to just pop in here and talk about something that's kind of on my mind today. So the last video, I was down a significant amount of weight. So the lowest that I've gotten here within the last week or so is essentially 35 pounds down. That put me, I was actually just a little bit over that. So I started at 345 and I dropped down to 309.7, something like that. So I was just a little over 35 pounds. Just out of curiosity, I started weighing a couple of times a day, every single day, just for the last few days. I do not recommend anybody do that. That was just a thing that I was doing just because I had a couple of questions about what my body was doing. So it really was just about curiosity. I don't recommend that you weigh every day. In fact, I don't recommend that you weigh more than once a week if you're doing this usually. Sometimes I do a little bit more than that if I'm curious about something. But you can't weigh more than once a week and really get an accurate understanding of where your body weight is, because your body weight fluctuates. And so I weighed for 2-3 days. I was doing it a couple times a day, and mostly what I was trying to do was see how the water that I'm drinking during the day and the food that I'm eating and those kinds of things, how that is affecting my weight. Just curious about that, and just kind of seeing what was actually happening in terms of the scale over a few day period. Normally weighing once a week, or even better once a month, is much better of an approach, because it gives you a much bigger picture kind of view of what's happening. But if you're starting this, or if you're doing this and you're worried about weight loss, don't weigh more than once a week, and ideally only weigh once, maybe twice a month, so that you don't get in your own head. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. So over the last 2 to 3 day period that I was weighing, I noticed my body weight fluctuating everywhere from, in the morning when I would get up, that 309.7 up to as much as 312 or 313. Now, that doesn't mean that I gained a whole bunch of weight back, because I haven't been eating anything to gain a bunch of weight. But essentially what happens is, as I drink water all day, and then as I eat, my 1 or maybe 2 meals a day, especially if I'm just doing 1 meal a day and I eat a big bunch of steak or ground beef and eggs, or whatever it is I'm having, that ends up, that's in my stomach. That's going to end up on the scale. And depending on what's going on, my body may hold on to more of that water, or it may flush it out, right? It may go down the drain, down the toilet, whatever. So there's just different reasons that my body may hang on to fluid for a day or two, and then it usually flushes it out. And so that was something that I was experimenting with, is I wanted to see, as I was eating and drinking these things, how much extra weight was going into my body on a daily basis, between the morning, when I'm always at my lowest weight, and then the evening after I've eaten my 1 or 2 meals a day and had water and all that kind of stuff. So my body weight is fluctuating anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds. And that's totally normal. This is the thing that I wanted to talk with you guys about. Like, something that you have to learn about keto and carnivore, and I've seen a lot of people struggle with this, which is why I kind of know to expect this, and I'm not letting myself get up in my own head about it. You have to understand that your body fluctuates in weight, right? I've seen people post on Facebook, or people that comment on videos, like when Dr. Barry and Nurse Nisha, when they're doing their live streams, or the Too Crazy Keto videos, or Dr. Chafee's videos, or anyone that's well known in the keto space and the carnivore space, the Emmerichs, and all these different people. I see comments from time to time where people say like, "Oh my gosh, I gained 2 pounds. What am I doing wrong?" And you can tell by the way they're writing these questions that they're concerned. And I totally understand this mindset, right? We are concerned about the fact that we're doing all of this work because we've been really unhealthy. And suddenly something is happening where we're getting healthier, we're losing weight, we're feeling better, everything is improving. But then we see the scale move the opposite direction a little bit because we become too obsessive about paying attention to the weight on the scale. And it throws you into this kind of panic mode because now it's like, well, what if what I'm doing stops working? And what if I don't feel better? And what if all of these things come back? I've been in this mindset. I understand. It's so easy to panic because the thing that we think is working, suddenly now we feel is being threatened. And I understand. So the thing that I want to say is you have to make sure to remember that that's normal. Your weight is supposed to fluctuate. Dr. Barry talks about this in a couple of videos where he's like, your body weight can fluctuate 5 pounds or more sometimes in a day because of fluid retention or based on what your body needs to go through or the food you eat or these different things. So it's like, that's not you gaining fat and that's not you becoming metabolically less healthy than you were the day before. That's a completely natural process. The other thing is, because of that kind of mindset that is driven into us by society, we end up becoming so obsessed with the idea of losing weight that is the only thing we can think about sometimes. And I have a family member who tried keto, and she did all of this keto stuff and she didn't lose any weight. And so she just gave up and said, well, keto doesn't work for me. And she gave up. And the thing that's kind of disheartening to hear about that kind of thing with a family member especially is it's like, okay, you did it for, say, a month or two, you didn't see the number on the scale change, but did you measure any of the parts of your body, like your waist and your arms and thighs and neck, to see if your body composition was changing? Did you go to a doctor and get your blood tests done so that you could see, like, how is your A1C and where is your blood pressure and what about your cholesterol and what about your blood sugar and like all these different kinds of things that can be affected by eating keto or carnivore as your body improves its health. It took you years and years, decades really, to get to a point where you're unhealthy enough that you think it's worth trying something like this. So if you do something for a month or two and the number on the scale doesn't move and then you just give up, that's not necessarily going to be very helpful, because it can take a lot longer than that for your body to just heal from what it's been going through. I mean, your bone might be density problems. Like, you may have really brittle and weak bones, and so your body is taking everything you're giving it, finally, like real nutrition, and it may be rebuilding your bones as fast as it possibly can because it's really important. Your organs may need to be beefed up. Your muscles might be really weak. And so your body takes all that and it builds all those cells. And if it burns fat cells and then takes all of the bits of pieces and energy and everything from those and builds brand new cells for bones and muscles and organs and everything else, and redoing your skin and all of these things that start to improve, that's going to show up on the scale. And so you may not see the scale move at all, but that doesn't mean that your body's not getting healthier and improving. So anyway, I think this is a short little video, but the thing that I just want to kind of point out is, whatever you do, don't get up in your own head and panic if the number on the scale doesn't do what you want it to do. If you are truly doing keto or ketovore or carnivore, and I don't mean eating, the shakes and cookies and pies and candies and all the kind of stuff that say keto on the label. I'm not talking about the products that big companies try to sell you so that they can make money off of the whole keto thing. I'm talking like fatty meat, eggs, if you're doing keto, or, ketovore, the veggies that you allow yourselves to have. Just those small things. Like, if that's what you're doing and you're eating proper human diet, whole food, real food, making it yourself at home, eating until you're full, and not cheating on things, and not, giving yourself the excuse of, well, it's just this once, or, fluctuating back and forth off of a proper human diet where you're eating junk from a sad diet and then you're going back to proper human. And because I've seen people do this, if you're not doing any of that, you're actually just eating real, whole, one ingredient foods, doing keto, doing carnivore, whatever it is you're doing, and keeping your carbs for sure under whatever the amount is you're setting for yourself, right? If you're truly eating that and you're really doing it, and honest to goodness, you're not pretending you're doing it, but you're actually doing it, and you still don't see the number on the scale change, patience is the key, and not panicking about what you see happening on the scale if the number turns around for a day or two, or maybe the scale doesn't move or whatever. Having patience and not panicking is the key. This is sustainable and this is really beneficial, but you have to be willing to just take a deep breath and be patient with yourself. And I know this because there have been times in the past when I've done this where I panicked. And when you panic and you get all up in your own head and you start getting extra critical of yourself, it's very easy for that emotion to drive you back to the carbs, because the carbs are an addiction. That's what I'm struggling with in my life, right? And I will be a carb addict for the rest of my life, just the same way that someone who's a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever, even when they're recovered, they still say they're a recovered alcoholic. It's not like you're no longer an alcoholic. A drug addict is a recovering drug addict. You're not the person that is no longer a drug addict. It's not like you can go back and do those things a little here and there and it's okay. Like, it will always trigger the exact same addiction because it is there. And the carb addiction is absolutely there. I fully believe that. I am a carb addict. I will always be a carb addict. So I stay away from that. And when I panic about things because I'm becoming obsessive about the weight on the scale or whatever the thing might be, those are the times when the cravings come back. And so this time around, what I'm doing that's making this more successful is, one, doing things like this vlog so that it keeps me accountable and I can show you guys what I do and what I don't do and talk with you about it so that I can just process it and understand it, and then hopefully it inspires someone else too. Maybe someone out there is struggling with this, see me going through it, and maybe it helps encourage them and help stabilize what they're doing too. But also just knowing that, and when things happen, not allowing myself to go to that place mentally, and understanding like this is going to drive the addiction, so don't do it, stay away from it. So anyway, just kind of a thought for the day. None of this is medical advice. You got to talk to your doctor about anything medical, but just my opinion here. Whatever you do on keto, carnivore, ketovore, whatever you're doing with that sort of low carb space, do not obsess over that number on the scale, and for goodness sakes, have patience with yourself. Believe in yourself enough to not panic if you see that number move the opposite direction. I mean, mine only moved, 3 or 4 pounds, and that was only at night. When I wake up the next morning, my body has digested food and it's, run off the water and stuff through my breath and through sweat and all these kinds of things through the day, through the night while I'm sleeping, whatever. I go right back down to where I'm supposed to be. I kind of fluctuate right in that between 309 and 310 kind of area. That's what I was every single morning that I was weighing myself. So I'm not going to weigh myself again now because I did my experiment. I know what my body is doing. I'm not going to weigh myself again for probably 4 or 5 more days, at least until next week, the normal time that I would weigh myself. So, but I'm not going to panic about it because my body knows what it's doing, and I'm good, and I'm doing what I need to do, and it will lose the weight when it wants to lose the weight. And in the meantime, I get to enjoy the fact that I feel massively better. Y'all, this time change thing with daylight savings time now, it is killing me. I hate doing this time change thing this direction. The one in the fall is no big deal because you get a little extra sleep, but man, this one, I get up, between 5 and 5:30. Sorry guys, I had a little bit of an interruption there. This time change thing is just killing me. In fall, you get a little bit extra sleep. That one's easy. This one, you lose that sleep, and I get up between 5 and 5:30 every morning for my day job before I then go home and do the music and the guitar lessons and, the carnivore stuff and cook dinner and all that kind of stuff. So when I'm running an hour short on sleep in the mornings, or when my body thinks that I am, that messes with me. But you know what? With the whole carnivore thing, I'm a whole lot better at it now than I used to be in the past. So I wish that I was able to feel a little bit more rested, but you know, doing carnivore, even with a little bit less sleep, like, I have way more energy, I'm way more positive, and I'm doing great. So I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope that this means something to you, and that you are not allowing yourselves to panic if you have those moments on the scale where it doesn't look quite right. And just hope that you guys can continue on this journey and lose weight and take back your health and do all that kind of stuff. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button below, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, share this video anytime that you are willing to, and with whoever it may mean something to. I really appreciate that. That really helps grow the channel so that more people can know about this. So thank you guys so much. Eat your meat, love your life, and I'll see you guys soon.